Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're not just talking about investing, we are deconstructing the entire psychological architecture of the world's most elite investors. This isn't motivational fluff, we're here to get into the brutal, honest mechanics of building real wealth. All right, let's just get right into it with a pretty harsh truth. Your brain is literally hardwired to keep you poor. And you know what? The modern market, it's engineered from the ground up to exploit that very fact. So most people, they aren't investing. No, they're playing a digital slot machine that was designed by engineers to drain their focus and, of course, their money. And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. Emotional trading. I mean, think about it. If you're checking your portfolio every single day, jumping at every push notification, you're not some kind of architect of wealth. You're a dopamine addict, just pulling a lever over and over, hoping for that next little reward. So in the world of investing, this addiction really splits everyone into two groups, two fundamental archetypes. Figuring out which one you are, well, that's the first and honestly the most critical step to breaking out of this loop for good. So check this out. This slide lays out the two paths perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the reactor. This is the person who lets the market noise, the headlines, the chatter, right into his bedroom first thing in the morning. He's always busy, always reacting, but when you look at his progress, he's basically stationary. He's paying what you might call a volatility tax to the very institutions that get rich off his anxiety. But then, on the right, you have the silent architect. This person operates differently. He gets that in this game, visibility is a tax. He's not checking the market, he dictates his involvement based on a rigid, predefined protocol. He's in control. So here's the absolute key takeaway. The difference between these two people, it's not about having more information. It's not about some secret algorithm. It is all about emotional velocity and control. The reactor is just being pulled around by the market's gravity. The architect, well, he creates his own.
Okay, so let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. We need to talk about a cautionary tale. Let's talk about the downfall of a guy named Mark.
So meet Mark. On paper, Mark was a high-potential guy. He had a fantastic job, a really solid savings rate. I mean, he had all the raw materials for massive success. But he was completely trapped, not by his finances, but by the appearance, the presentation of being a successful investor. The reality was something else entirely. This right here is a perfect autopsy of the reactor mindset in action. For 2 whole years, Mark played the part of a market genius on social media, in Discord groups, always flashing his supposed gains. Every single move he made was driven by this deep need for social validation. He was reacting to every notification, confusing just being active with actually making progress. He was paying what we'll call the nice guy tax. He wanted approval for his trades more than he wanted profits. He was chasing respect for his posts, not growth in his bank account. And then, of course, it happened. One random Tuesday, the market corrected. And just like that, the whole illusion shattered. He finally realized that all that activity, all that networking, it had led nowhere. His portfolio was completely stagnant. He wasn't the main character, he was just a side character in a story written by the brokerage engineers who designed their apps to keep him hooked, reactive, and addicted. But you know what? Mark's failure, it actually shows us the path to success. To stop being Mark, to finally become the architect of your own wealth, you have to replace those emotional reactions with a protocol, a framework for cold, hard execution. Okay, let's break down this protocol. It's simple, but it's not easy. Step 1, the mute phase. For the next 30 days, silence is your new status symbol. That means uninstalling the news apps, muting the influencers. You have to clear out all the static so you can finally hear the signal. Step 2, the bias audit. This is where you have to be brutally honest with yourself. What are your emotional triggers? Is it FOMO when you see something pump? Is it the sunken cost fallacy that keeps you holding a loser? You name them and then you make a pact. You do not negotiate with them, ever. And finally, step 3, the velocity protocol. This is where you take yourself out of the equation. You automate your buys based on a 10-year plan, and then you disappear. You let the system do the work while you go live your life. You see, the power gap between the 1% and everyone else, it isn't technical. It's not about finding some secret stock tip. It's about having the brutal, ice-cold discipline to say no to 99% of the so-called opportunities out there, just so you can protect the 1% that will actually build your legacy. Now, the hard truth is that most people, they'll watch this, they'll nod along, and then they'll go right back to that little slot machine in their pocket. They will choose to remain a reactor, staying busy but going nowhere. But that choice, in the end, it's yours and yours alone. So which is it going to be? Architect or addict? You have the blueprint now. The choice is simple. Architect a version of yourself that actually wins, silently, brutally, and without any apology. Your training arc starts now. World muted, lock in.